And then what about Hillary versus Kamala?
Oh, God. Well, Hillary was smart. There's that.
They didn't hide Hillary. Hillary did interviews,
I mean,
right?
I had this conversation just this morning. You can say what you want about Hillary Clinton, but she is incredibly competent.
Yeah.
Incredibly competent.
She's competent, and she could have done the job. How she did it and with what level of honesty and corruption would be a different story. But I really think the problem for Kamala Harris is she's not smart. She's not a deep thinker. She's very surface level. Yeah, she's giggling just like that all the time.
Spicy. Megyn, tell us how you feel. Really, be honest.
And it's a cover. It's an obvious cover, right? It's like she gets to the point where she doesn't know what she's saying. Even she doesn't know what she's saying. And it's like, ah! And so you feel uncomfortable watching her. And then she gave her first interview to CNN. And suddenly, if that's drunk Kamala, suddenly we're dealing with hungover Kamala. Like, my values haven't changed. Like, clearly somebody had told her, you cackle, we're out of here.
Yeah.
Right?
So, what did you think about her bringing her emotional support white guy?
Exactly. Her emotional support governor. He was her big white blankie. Like I
mean, it made no
toddler.
sense. Like, it seemed like a terrible strategic decision. Like, who's making the decision to do that?
I agree. I objected to the whole thing. I think he was there for two purposes. One was, yes, in case she got in real trouble, he could step in.
Yeah.
And the other was to suck up some of the airtime so she had a couple of fewer questions to answer.
What did you think of the job just broadcaster Dana Bash did? Because she did ask some tough questions. She did probe a little bit.
No.
Not enough?
She did terribly.
Okay. I mean, I don't think it was particularly hard, but
that was not a good job.
Okay,
and,
explain why.
Okay.
What would you have done differently?
So many things. Go back and listen to my podcast the day after because I just took it apart forensically bit by bit.
Give us the top three here.
Where were the follow-up questions? Where were the hard-hitting follow-ups when she said her nonsense? Like, specifically how? What exactly caused you to change your mind? Walk me through the process. And hit her with all of them, not just a couple. And Tim Walz, grammar? The grammar excuse? That's why he said he carried a weapon into war? It was his grammar? What kind of BS was that?
And no follow-up, yeah.
Yes, and honestly, all it would have taken was,
yeah.
Do you really want our audience to believe you said you took weapons into war as a soldier? Okay, because every actual service personnel knows you don't exaggerate something like that. That's hallowed ground. You don't say you went into war when you didn't. And he's already on the hot seat for having said, he was a command sergeant major and he didn't retire as such and so on. Anyway, all it would have taken was, you really want this audience to believe that was a grammatical error? Is that your story? No, none of that was done. And it was just irritating because there's so much for Kamala Harris to be cross-examined on. And she went to sleep.
I mean, and
she was meek.
And the follow-up question is just such an easy thing to do. You don't even have to say it as aggressively as you did. You just say, okay, so to be clear, let me repeat back to you, grammar is the reason you said
But let me tell you something. Some aggression was warranted. This is the problem. Her timidity is part of the problem because I challenge anybody. Go back and look. I did an interview with Trump in September. We've been through a lot, he and I.
Well, yeah. That's an interesting relationship.
It's a very interesting relationship. And I saw him at a Turning Point event the previous August, and I said, I'd love to sit down with you. He said, great, I'll do it. So we sat down in September of last year. It was a great interview. It was challenging. He was not in love with it. Good.
Which part?
Where I hammered him on the legal stuff.
Yeah.
It had a crescendo and a decrescendo like every good interview should. We started off with some stuff that he would like. Joe Biden's old. How about that? And then you built.
You warmed him up. It's a classic strategy, right?